So we're here today at Liverpool Football Club's famous Anfield Stadium, and it was here on the 15th of October 2011 at a match between Liverpool and Manchester United that the Manchester United player Patrice Evra accused the Liverpool player Luis Suarez of racism. Patrice Evra said that Suarez used the word negro to him, that's the Spanish word for black, on several occasions. In his view, Suarez was being racist to him. So he made a formal complaint to the FA, and the FA launched an investigation. Suarez said in his defense that he had used the word negro, but he'd used it in a friendly, inoffensive way, as he said it was used in Latin America. So the FA then contacted me as an anthropologist who'd spent many years in Colombia working on race and racism and racial discrimination, black identity, etc., to say whether the word negro used in Latin America was in fact racist or not. The place to start when you're trying to think about a context for the meaning of the word negro and other similar words like black or the notorious N-word is slavery. Now, Liverpool has a very long history of participation in the slave trade. The slave trade also took place in Latin America, in Uruguay, where Luis Suarez is from, all over the Americas and the Caribbean. So slavery is the broad context in which to try and understand the meaning of the word, or the different meanings of the word negro. The history of slavery means that blackness in Latin America is strongly associated with poverty, lower class status, and even ugliness. So that's one context in which the word negro derives much of its meaning. It can be, if used in a certain way, in a certain tone of voice, a very insulting word. So for example, if a person says, ese negro, that black, that can carry racist connotations. On the other hand, there are lots of contexts in which the use of the word negro is much less offensive. For example, the darkest skinned member of a family might well be called el negro, the black one, and that is a nickname, a family nickname. Or a man might refer to his wife or his girlfriend as mi negra, my black woman. And again, that's a term of endearment. But the possibility of it being used as an inoffensive, endearing term usually comes from the intimacy of family relationships or friendship relationships, which somehow defuse the possibility of a racist use of the term. So there's always the possibility that the use of the term carries a racist charge. That was the conclusion of our report to the FA. We said, it depends on context. They found Suarez guilty of racism because of the way he said it, because of his body language, and because of the context that it was said in. He was actually trying to be offensive, so they found him guilty of racism. So that's an anthropological take on a particular incident. Meaning depends on context. Now, in some ways, that's a kind of an obvious conclusion. In the UK, we know we have to be sensitive to cultural diversity. You can see that conclusion from those famous HSBC adverts in which a tourist makes a certain hand gesture, which in a particular cultural context is considered to be offensive. But in anthropology, we try to go a bit deeper to find out what the meanings are, what people's ideas are, what kinds of meanings they attribute to particular words and particular behaviours. And that's what anthropology is about.